Hi, I'm Beth with TV Properties Buys Land. In the last video, we talked about receiving scam offer letters in the mail. We discussed how do you mitigate your risk and determine whether these offers to purchase your rural vacant land or your home or whatever it is, whatever property it is, whether they are legit or whether they are indeed scam letters trying to scam you out of your property. You know, nowadays there's enough scams going around that you have to protect yourself and you have to be aware. So in the earlier video, if you hadn't watched that, we talk a lot about title companies, the reasons to use them and how it can protect you, okay? So today I want to discuss the contract, okay? So if let's just say that the investor wants to use a title company, that's great. You know, you've got protection, you're going to be paid in that manner. But what is in the contract itself? Do you understand it? Okay. So if their contract is so complex and difficult to understand, you have a couple different options. I mean, one, you can always walk away. Okay. But if you don't understand it, that should be a red flag. Maybe you need to go ahead and consult a real estate attorney and have them go through it and make sure there's nothing that's going to get you in trouble or scam you out of your property, that sort of thing. But if it's so complex that you can't understand it, to me, that would be a red flag. And you need to keep revising that until you understand it, until it makes sense, or, until your real estate attorney is happy with that. Okay. So I'm not going to give you legal advice. I can't do that. But to me, understanding that contract would be really key to making sure that you're not going to get scammed. Okay. Another question that you might want to ask, in addition to, hey, are we closing through a title company, is how are you going to get paid? So if you're closing through a title company, it should be paid through the title company, and the title company pays you out. But the question is the real estate investor, are they having to get a loan in order to pay you for your property, or do they have cash where they can wire the money right away? What does that mean to you if they have to get a loan? Well, what if they're not approved for that loan? Okay, what if the lender has them jump through a bunch of hoops in order to lend them the money? Okay, if you haven't noticed, rates are terrible right now, right? And with some of the bank failures going on, it's a little bit more difficult, to get money. So they may require, the survey to be updated. They may require their appraiser to get out there. Maybe the appraiser is so behind, it might take 2 months in your area. So that means that it could slow down the process to when you're getting your money. Maybe you don't care, but if you were expecting to be paid in, say, a month, when that property closes, then you're going to be let down if all these things are holding you up. Okay. So that's a question to ask. How are you going to get paid? How are they paying out for the property? Another thing I would ask is, that closing date that should be on the contract, right? But I would check their information on when they're planning to close, what they're planning to do, because some of these real estate investors, and this may not be a scam, but they may not have the money to purchase your property outright, or maybe they're trying to minimize their risk, and you can't blame them, but you need to be aware. What if they're trying to sell the property at the same time that they're buying it from you? Okay. And in that paperwork, if it says they're going to do that, then they can do it legally, right? But what does that mean if they can't find a buyer for your property while they're trying to buy it from you? That just means you're going to push off that closing date. Okay. And potentially what that means to you is that instead of closing, in a month like you're expecting, maybe as they're trying to source a buyer for your property, maybe it's taking 2-3 months. I mean, go look at Zillow. Some of these properties in some of the areas that we work in, I'm seeing properties are sitting on the market sometimes for a year. I saw some from early 2022, which is bad. That's over a year, considering when this video is being made. So, that's an important thing to find out is, are they paying you cash right away, or are they needing to source another buyer for your property, or are they going to try to sell the deal to somebody else? And these are all legit things, okay? I don't want you to be worried that that's a scam in particular, but it could affect when you're closing and what your expectations are. So to me, as a land seller, I would want to make sure that, one, I'm safe, and that my expectations are being met? And these are all questions that you can ask when it comes to working with a real estate investor. There's some great reasons to work with real estate investors like TV Properties Buys Land. We're going to be able to buy your property quickly. Right now, with the slowdown in real estate, with bank loans being difficult to get, you know that you're going to have someone buy your property and you're going to close in a month. That's great. You don't have to sit on the market and wonder, and how many times am I going to have to lower the price before it sells? I think I'm going to get this price, but now in the end, I'm getting this other price because of the market. We don't know what's going to happen. So there's a value to that. And if you're paid in cash, that's great too, right? But you do need to understand what the risks are, and also, and a risk could be and how long it's going to take for you to get paid. Okay. So hopefully this has helped you when it comes to some of these offer letters that have come in the mail. Are they legit? Are they a scam? I've given you a couple of questions to ask so that you can make that decision for yourself. But if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to TV Properties Buys Land. We purchase 10 plus acre properties all over the country. We pay in cash. We always close through a title company for your safety as well as ours. And we're real people. So feel free to reach out to us and ask us questions. We look forward to working with you. Thanks again for listening.